Views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. Thank you all for tuning us in, turning us on, and we are so thrilled to be connecting with all of you. And thank you guys for calling in for those tickets for the upcoming event with Dr. Evan Alexander. Thank you guys so much. Let me give a shout-out to Mr. B. So busy today already, Benny. Thank you. How are you?
Doing well, Pat. Thank you very much.
Wow, we got a great show today. Got a great show. Dr. Friedemann Schaub. So this is an interesting topic for today. All of you out there that are wondering why you're kind of like the same in your life, and you kind of wake up, and I know I just had this epiphany myself, Benny. You wake up one day, and all of a sudden you think, wow, why have I not changed that yet? Why have I not changed that yet? And you kind of look around and you think, I just don't know. Well, one way to figure it out is you pick up the phone and you call Dr. Friedemann Schaub and you schedule a session with him, and he's going to help you figure that out. Or you listen to today's show, because if you haven't changed yet, this is probably why. What this show is about is to give you the answer to that. You know, so are you, like me, one of the many people out there who have tried hard to improve yourself and your life? However, despite everything you thought you were going to do, all your good intentions, somehow you still haven't been able to reach your goals. As a matter of fact, if you're a little like me, sometimes it's really hard to even set your goals. Well, my life is a little changed in that arena right now, and you're going to hear why today, thanks to Dr. Friedemann, his work, his book, and many other things. So today, you're going to hear from Dr. Friedemann Schaub, the author of The Fear and Anxiety Solution, this double award-winning book, best-selling book, and a brand-new platform for it, how he's helping people change their lives everywhere. He's going to share 4 major reasons why we fail to make changes. And then what can we learn about these principles, and how can we then take our lives to a completely different level? As I said before, he is the award-winning author of The Fear and Anxiety Solution, the book. He's also the founder of Cellular Wisdom, which is a powerful personal breakthrough and empowerment program. Helped thousands of people all over the world, still doing it today, huge clientele, helping people understand what it is that's going on in their lives and what it is that they need to do to create the kind of change that they want to make, whether it's one step at a time or an enormous transformative jump to the top. This is what he does. I will tell you guys that he's been with us on the show as a regular for years. We're thrilled to have him bring his messages forth. One of the things I love that he did from the get-go was to give all of you an opportunity to schedule a free telephone consultation with him. So if you're in a place where you're wondering, why am I not making the changes that I need to make? Let's just say that you can call toll-free 866-903-6463. That's for a free consultation with Dr. Friedemann, 866-903-6463, because the time is now. The time is now to kick our lives into gear, to stop sitting on the sidelines when we know we want to play with all the other kids on the block. Now, that's a childhood story that hopefully I'll tell someday. Dr. Friedemann, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
It's always great to be there. Thank you very much for having me.
So, I was one of these kids, believe it or not. I know you're going to have a hard time believing this, but I was one of these kids that for a long time in my life, I did sit on the sidelines. I wasn't able to, step into the game fully. I wasn't able to make the changes that were required for me to make to actually even be considered for the game of life. And so let's talk about this, why it's important, and what is it about today's show that will help people take that first step?
Well, I think that change is something that we all know is inevitable, because even when you're sitting on the sidelines, something is always changing. It's changing, physically you're changing, you are changing, maybe in some ways in your mindset. Maybe you see everybody around you changing, so then you relate to yourself differently because the people and the situations around have been changing. Even if we are stuck, change occurs. So why not being in a place where we're saying, well, let's make change actually something we direct and we own. And I think most people want to do this. But I have found through the years that when it comes to changing or reaching goals, there are some major reasons why people, I don't like the word necessarily, but let's say they fail. And they feel like they fail. And the problem is that every time you try to change, every time you try to reach those goals and you're not successful with it, something inside of you says, well, I will never do this. It will never going to happen. It's going to be really hard to make it, or get the energy up to try to do it the next time. So if you really want to change, listen to this show and really get an idea of whether some of those reasons are also the reasons you have been struggling with, because these reasons can be addressed and you can do something about it to make change a much more easy and also a process that actually builds on success, so that next time you change, you already know how easy it can be and how successful you can be in doing so.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that I wanted to ask you about, and we're going to talk about a lot of things today, we're going to talk about these 4 reasons why people don't change. But let me just make a comment about my own life for a minute, and maybe you could talk to this. There have been times where I've been so clear about the changes I've wanted to make and have not been able to make them. And then what happens is, I've gotten on this spiral of defeat, right? Let's talk about the spiral of defeat. It's this thing that, happens when you have the best intentions, you're all kind of ready to go. You think you're doing all the right things, but then what happens is you realize you're not. And I wanted you to address this, because it seems like we then get to feel defeated, right? You see what I'm saying?
Well, I think actually that most people that I know that have been on this spiral don't necessarily say, I don't do the things that I'm supposed to do. They're more saying that they can't, or they don't have what it takes, or somehow something is missing. So it really gets more personal. I mean, if you realize, hey, I should be doing something different, that's more, you could say action-oriented. But it actually goes then and gets turned inwards, and you start naturally questioning yourself and wondering, what's wrong with me? Why can't I? Other people can do it. Then it's something that's really self-defeating. And many people I'm working with are really coming with that, intention. That's my last shot. That's, I have tried everything out, and I don't really know if anything will work, so you're my last hope. And of course, that's definitely a deep spiral place they have been sitting in. But the good news is that they also realize you can actually get out of this hole, and you can actually find the reasons why you haven't been able to change, and you can address those reasons, and then change once again is inevitable.
Well, I think that's part of a huge message for today for our listeners for the show. And we're going to actually hear from someone that's actually looked at this and created these changes. But you're right about this. I mean, you and I have talked about this several times now, and that is, the whole crust-busting idea was born out of me being completely unable to change anything or do anything differently, and really believing I couldn't. That I can't mentality for me has been so really difficult. What is it about us that really brings us to I can't so quickly?
Well, I think, that's basically the summary, you could say, of many of those steps that I'm going to talk about, because I can't is, what we explain the lack of change with. And I feel, that the first, we can just jump to the first reason why people don't change, because that ties in with the I can't, which is that we tend to focus much more on the problem rather than on what we really want. And that's, many people know that. They know that they're looking at their, maybe self-sabotaging habit, or they're looking at the job that they really hate, or the weight that they just cannot seem to shed, or, maybe the relationship that they feel stuck in. They look at the problem. They basically, focus on the feelings and all this drainage and negativity that comes with the problem. And the more they do, the heavier this problem is weighing on their minds. And, I was definitely in the same situation when I was really stuck in my career as working in cardiology, and I really felt the weight of the pressure and the discontent with, how we were helping people or, how we were treating people. I felt that pressure, I felt that weight, I felt my discontent, and the more I felt it, the more I felt stuck. So, you need to be able to really go beyond the stain, the problem that you see, and ask yourself, what do I really want instead? And you probably know this with crust busting, that, once you ask yourself, what do I want to experience and feel once I am changing, all of a sudden it's almost like a door is open, the curtains are drawn back, and you can see, wow, that's actually where I want to have my energy go to. That's what I really want. And our mind is quite amazing in taking direction in this regard.
Well,
so when you are focusing on the problem, we know this, the problem gets bigger. When we focus on the solution, all of a sudden we find ways to find that solution and get there. And that's certainly the number one step. And I invite all the listeners to go to the website, cellularwisdom.com, and on the right side there are these empowerment tools, and one of the empowerment tool is the 6 essential questions to setting your goals. And these are 6 questions you can go through that help you to move away from looking just at the problem and actually creating excitement and positive energy about the goals that you want to reach. And many of my clients told me just by going through the questionnaire, their change already has begun.
I love it. Dr. Friedemann Schaub is in the house. We're going to take a short break, everybody. When we come back, we're going to take a look at what these steps are. What are the 4 reasons? And then the problem is, okay, now that we know that, what the heck do we do with it? That's why Dr. Friedemann Schaub is in the house. Because, first of all, it's not just about identifying a problem. It's identifying a breakthrough solution. That's what he does. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with the Dr. Pat Show. Best-selling author, award-winning book, The Fear and Anxiety Solution, Dr. Friedemann Schaub. We'll be right back.
Tune in to The Sandy Brewer Show, getting to the heart of what matters in your life. Thursdays at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com, and experience the powerful healing voice of Dr. Sandy Brewer, one of Call-In Talk Radio's most dynamic, compelling personalities. Get ready for inspiration and contagious humor and her been there, done that, no-nonsense advice to meet today's challenges.
Listen and call in at 800-930-2819 for The Sandy Brewer Show.
Having trouble keeping up with the accelerated, life-altering changes occurring on the planet? The Quantum Vortex is the brainchild of Meg Benedicte, a pioneer in quantum healing and energetic activations. weaving together ancient spiritual knowledge, quantum physics, and vibrational healing. Meg Benedicte is accelerating change at the cellular level. For more details on private sessions, meditation CDs, downloads, and teleseminars, visit newearthcentral.com.
Tune in to The Truth is Funny with Colette Steffen each Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This hit show will have you thinking outside the box and riding the wave of infinite potential. Join Colette on the Higher Self Network, inspiring listeners to shine their brilliance and ensure success while roaring with laughter as they recognize the humor of the giant cosmic joke. Visit thetruthисfunny.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Pat. Do you want to know what heaven is really like? Well, if there are pearly gates and angels all around, well, join me and countless others in Seattle on June 14th as Dr. Eben Alexander, author of the New York Times bestseller Proof of Heaven, a neurosurgeon's journey into the afterlife, shares his transformative experience, profound lessons, and the complete revision of everything he has come to believe about science, consciousness, spirituality, and the very nature of all existence. Get your tickets today and join us as we welcome Dr. Alexander to Seattle for the first time. Oh, and if you are into really cool experiential workshops, he is one of those too. So please visit thedrpatshow.com, click on the picture or the link, and register. Friday, June 14th, Seattle at the Center for Spiritual Living. And you know what? Let's all of us take a closer look at what it means to have proof of heaven.
How would you like increased health and vitality? How would you like to avoid the onset of disease as well as slow the aging process? This is all possible through a simple, safe, and natural process. Every day we are either moving toward wellness or away from wellness.
Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. I'd like to be your partner in achieving optimal health. Contact me now at maryjanemack.com or call 425-392-0659. Visit maryjanemack.com.
Changes. Turn and face the strain. Changes. Don't wanna be a richer man. Changes. Turn and face the strain.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. Thank you so much for tuning us in, turning us on. Wow. I got to take a deep breath, Benny. I got to breathe for a minute. I'm like so energized and exhausted at the same time from chatting with Dr. Friedemann during the break because he's laughing. This is a really important show. You know, Dr. Friedemann, thank you for joining me here today. And, you know, what we're talking about here is something that I think every single one of our listeners can relate to. You know, what is it about us that has prevented us from not taking the action to change? And you have 4 reasons, and then you also have solutions. So let's get right to it. What is the number one reason that we don't change? And I just shared a little something with you during the break, so feel free to comment as you will.
So the number one reason is the reason that I mentioned, which is that we focus on the problem rather than on the solution or rather than on the goal. So that's definitely a very important one, and I think a lot of people know that about themselves. And as I said, you know, our mind is really susceptible to direction, especially our subconscious mind, which pretty much is running the show when it comes to our, you know, change and our moving forward through life. There is this part of our mind, that deeper part of our mind that needs to be on board with change. And when we are choosing to focus on the problem, we are not choosing to give our subconscious direction to look for solutions. And, you know, a simple example is that when you choose to look for a house, you're going to see the for sale signs everywhere. Or when you are really smitten with a person, all of a sudden you see people and you think, oh, that's him or that's her, because, you know, you have subconsciously a filter now that is looking out for that, what you really desire. And so getting clear on what you want, not so much necessarily the external, but much more the experience internally, which will carry the energy to get you to that external goal. That's really important. And once again, go to cellularwisdom.com, download the 6 questions to setting a goal, and see how you're already creating a positive energy inside. Now, the second one is our mind is too rigid. And what that means is that we are often not aware of how we are really stopping ourselves from changing because we have that inflexibility inside of us. We are, let's say, for example, you want to lose weight, and every day when you look in the mirror, you're berating yourself, you're telling yourself names, how ugly you are. Well, that's not really creating any positive energy to change. And often people are in a mindset, that is basically imprinted from their past. The mindset we just talked about. I can't, or I'm not good enough, or I shouldn't, or I don't deserve. I mean, these are things that are imprints, limiting beliefs from the past that we can change. This is one of the things I'm focusing on with my clients. But you can already start doing this on your own by simply being aware of, what am I actually saying to myself? What am I actually spouting out every day and describing my world and my reality with words that keep me stuck, that keep me imprisoned? And those words are very powerful. I talked to a client today, and he described his situation with, these people take my power, and I am, the person who is always, smaller than them and fearful. And these are stories he has been telling himself for a long time. And by being able to say, well, what if you choose words that are actually much more uplifting? For example, turning it around and saying, well, these people actually are not taking my power. These people are actually afraid, and that's why they are so controlling. And I, in the past, was basically feeling their fears and tapping into these emotions, and then I gave them my power. But I don't have to do this any longer. This is not my job any longer. So just being aware of how you can, by describing and making your mind much more flexible in that, describing a situation differently, much more in a way that you want to see it than the way you have been seeing it, that opens up a lot of energy and opens up a lot of possibility, because when you have a flexible mind, you do see possibilities where before you only saw limitations. You do see solutions where before you only saw problems, and that's really powerful to do.
One of the things that I wanted to ask you about, especially in the context of change, is that, we have a consciousness around this let's just talk it at a real global consciousness level, at a level in our governments and our schools, and we're so really clear that, it's time for change. We're really, really clear that we need to change. I mean, we hear this all the time. It is probably one of the most talked about topics that we have. And yet, at the same time, all of us wonder, why are things taking so much time to move forward? Can you just talk a little bit about the consciousness of this and how that leads into some of the other reasons?
Well, that's a really good question, and I think this whole idea why it takes so long is really based upon that often we are not really committed to go one path. This is where actually the third reason already comes in. We are in a society that wants instant gratification and instant change and instant success. Patience is not really something we like. Patience is not something we foster. It's like we are told we can have it, we should have it, it needs to happen right now. And in this way, we are always looking then for that thing that will magically make us better, look better, feel better, be richer. And so we are basically moving along maybe for a day, maybe for a workshop, maybe for, a week. We read a book, nothing has changed, and then we are wondering, well, okay, maybe that's the wrong thing. Let's jump to the next thing. Let's do something else. I heard this is actually successful. And in some ways, it's like, you're hungry, and you're going towards, let's say the Greek restaurant, and all of a sudden you feel like, well, maybe I should have Mexican, and then you think, well, maybe I should have French, and you're basically driving through the whole city and not ever getting any meal because you never stick with something. And this is true. Many people are in the shoes of not having the mindset of always lead to Rome. You can reach your goals, and there is not necessarily this one thing that's going to get you much better there than others. Just commit to that, what you have started. It needs to feel right. It needs to make sense. It needs to motivate you. Absolutely, that's a given. But really have also this commitment to this goal and this change that you have. And often really we have to keep in mind that the resistance to change is often the strongest right before we have the biggest breakthrough. It's like saying, it gets often worse before it gets better. It's true. And that's the problem where people then, falter and say, well, okay, now I'm feeling even worse, or now it hasn't really moved, and then they give up. And that really, this getting onto the next thing prolongs only this journey of change. And I can highly recommend to people, if you do something, stick with it and really do your best to go to the very end and trust that.
Oh, boy, wait till we come back from break on this one. I've shared this with you a lot, Dr. Friedemann. I learned the power of perseverance from my mom, from my stepmom, And it's been hard over time. I mean, I had to get to where I am, I guess many, many decades to really realize how seriously important it is. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, I know you're going to share some secrets about what it means to take consistent action, why that's important. I know that also there's an idea of commitment. And, it's fascinating to me because how many times have we even gone out with our friends and we're sitting around, right? And we're going to go to the movies. And we're sitting around, and this is what the conversation looks like, right? And I want you to talk about when we come back. We say, okay, great, let's go to what movie would you like to go to? Well, I don't know. What movie would you like to go to? Well, I'm not sure. Would you like to go to this movie? Well, maybe not that movie. Maybe we should go to this movie. 4 people sitting around a table trying to negotiate which movie they want to go to. Is it because we cannot commit to a decision, or is it because of something else? We're going to take a short break. When we come back, distracted, confused, I have been there. But what happens when you do commit? What happens when you make that decision to just full steam ahead? Well, we got that to talk about and a lot more because Dr. Friedemann Schaub is in the house. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back. When we come back, we'll tell you about his book, give you lots of information. And we're going to hear from somebody that was working and is working with Dr. Friedemann and figured it out with him. This is a tough one. This is a hard one to do alone. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Tune into Intuit University, compassionate guidance, connecting you to your inner wisdom with internationally renowned psychic and medium Sherry Dillard. Each Thursday at 12 Pacific, 3 Eastern. Get ready for an hour of practical spirituality, fun, and a magic carpet ride into the spirit realm. This hit show is a combination of call-in readings and intuitive mentoring, as Sherry supports, inspires, and empowers you to create your highest good in relationships, career, finances, life purpose, spirituality, and more. For more information, visit SherryDillard.com. Tune in each Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the hit show Out of the Fog with Karen Hager, the Fog City Psychic. Spark your spirit and ignite your soul with spiritual conversation and enlightening guests that will help you get clear and catapult you into action. You'll meet metaphysical movers and shakers, intuitives, spiritual visionaries, and more. Want an on-air reading? Karen's down-to-earth style and lively curiosity delivers the compassionate, no-nonsense, intuitive advice that's become her trademark. Visit FogCityPsychic.com and book your reading today.
Welcome to Sisters Talk Radio. Awaken the feminine power that glows in your heart. There are just certain heart-to-heart conversations you can only have with your sisters. The conversations you crave when you need to reconnect. Mona and Savitri explore our feminine power as they look at headline topics and what women are talking about. Join us on Sisters Talk Radio, Fridays at 2 p.m. Pacific and 5 p.m. Eastern. Only on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Called the Oprah of radio by her listeners, award-winning host Dr. Pat Baccili is blowing the doors off of traditional talk radio. Get ready for an energizing delivery and powerful interviews with leaders in the field of human potential. Dr. Pat's fresh, new perspective on living life full out has catapulted her show to the top of talk radio. Tune in and Dr. Pat will help you thrive instead of merely survive. Visit thedrpatshow.com. That's THEDRPatshow.com for listening times in your area.
Are you interested in learning about how to add more eco-conscious living into your life? Amy Tuwillis, broker and owner of Rhino Roz Realty, is dedicated to helping people buy and sell healthy homes. She strives to educate people on incorporating more green features into your environment. Rhino Roz Realty wants to be a resource before, during, and after a transaction. Whether someone is buying or selling a single-family home, multifamily, condo, or investment property, Rhino Roz can provide the service and knowledge that is needed to make informed decisions. For a free market analysis or more information about greening your home, contact Amy at rhinoroz.com, RHINOROZ.com, or call 206-508-1250. Rhino Roz Realty, charging on your behalf in the Northwest.
What's up? Wearing on my shoulders, gotta find strength in me. Why's that? 'Cause I am a superwoman. Yes, I am.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Wow. Dr. Friedemann Schaub is in the house. You know, why do some people change and some people don't? We're talking about the four major reasons that people don't change, but we're also talking about what we can do to get the ball rolling. Dr. Friedemann Schaub is a regular on the Dr. Pat Show. If you've missed any of our conversations over these years, what I would invite all of you to do is go to the drpatshow.com or go to transformationtalkradio.com and go ahead and search on his name, Dr. Friedemann. You could search on fear and anxiety and take a listen to some of these amazing shows. For more information about him, you can go to his website, thefearandanxietysolution.com, or you can go to Cellular Wisdom. The other thing I would invite everyone to do that wants to take action in their lives, that wants to move forward at lightning speed, is to give him a call at 866-903-6463 for a free phone consultation. He'll talk with you. He'll be able to explore where you want to go, and he'll let you know what's involved. There is nothing better than having a conversation with someone like Dr. Friedemann Schaub and being able to get some insight on what's possible in your life. He has worked with countless people all over the globe. And his award-winning book, now 2 awards, best-selling book, is now a way for him to take his work and make it available in this form for so many people. Lots of classes going to come, and there's a reason why. If you're listening to today's show, you have a real sense of how passionate he is about his work and how committed he is about helping all of us live the best lives possible and beyond. Dr. Friedemann, thank you for joining us here today. I know we're going to be joined in a minute by someone very, very special. But before we do, I think it's important to continue this conversation about the reasons why people don't change. And before the break, I was talking about perseverance. You know, I'd love for you to talk a little bit about what gets in the way and then what we can do to get it out of the way.
Well, you know, the reason one of the reasons for not changing we just talked about, which is this not committing. And what I mean with commitment is actually choosing a path and saying, this is what I'm going to commit myself to. This is what I simply buy into right now and believe this will guide me to this place where I'm going to have my dreams fulfilled, my goals reached. Then the fourth place is, of course, or the fourth reason why we don't get there at the end is that we don't take consistent action. Action taking is certainly something we all have thought about, we all have struggled with, but there is something really powerful about the consistent action taking that is different from taking action. Some people take action like sprints. They say, well, I'm going to change and I'm going to do this then 1 time a week for, an hour and a half. And that's not necessarily really creating this established relationship with that part of your mind that usually holds you back from change. There are other reasons that can prevent us from changing. One of them, of course, we all know, is the fear of change itself. And, we have talked about this in other shows before. But really being able to say, I am actually taking consistent action to let go of this resistance and let go of the fear of change is really a very, very critical point to take into consideration. What I noticed is when we do take action, let's say, you say, I'm going to take every day 10 minutes to visualize my goals, or I'm going to do every day 10 minutes to really make sure that my mind is put into the right direction, that my thoughts are in alignment with that, what I want to reach, or, maybe physical goals. You're going to take 10 minutes every day to break out a sweat, whatever it is. Internally, what happens is that you're creating a relationship with the subconscious that is a relationship of trust. That's a relationship of confidence. When you are, let's say somebody works for you, you just started this working relationship, and this person shows up one day and then he doesn't show up the next day, and then maybe he doesn't call in, or maybe you just feel like, well, I don't really know if this person actually knows what he's doing. Sometimes he seems to be all over the place. Probably you would end this relationship very quickly. That's how we are approaching change. And when we realize that there is a part of us, part of our subconscious, skeptic about change and looking at us and saying, well, are you really sure that you know what you're doing? Do you really want to have this goal reached? Is that really right? Then you have to show up with that consistency and commitment to convince this part of you that you are really taking the reins in your hand and that you really are moving into this direction and you mean it. And that will create this inner trust and confidence that really gives you wings, that really helps you to make change so much easier.
Mm. Dr. Friedemann, I know we're going to be joined here in a minute by someone that's really going to speak to this from a personal level and a personal point of view. And I know that today, what we're looking at in the show is really understanding what these reasons are. What have you found as to why it is so important for us to understand the why in order for us to move to the how?
Well, I think the whys really just give you a wonderful map that you can orient yourself on. I mean, once you know why, then you don't feel lost, then you don't feel so confused, and then you don't feel hopeless. I mean, the whys certainly give you really the ground to move forward and make change. And there are many hows on how to take action, and there are many hows how to make your mind more flexible and create the goals that you want and have commitment. That's not necessarily the issue, but once you know what you're looking for to really get this momentum going, then you will find the answers. Nobody is incapable of change. Everybody is able to make their goals reality. We are, innately gifted with this enormous potential. I always find my clients so inspirational because they are able to literally move mountains by making those changes come from within. And one of those is actually, the Patricia who's going to call in, and I'm looking forward to talking with her. So it just proves to me that we really do have what it takes. We just have to know where to start, and being aware of why you haven't changed in the past is a really powerful big first step.
All right. Well, let's do this. Let's go to break. And when we come back from break, Patricia will be joining us on air. Dr. Friedemann Schaub is in the house. We're going to take a short break here, and we'll be right back with Dr. Friedemann. We'll be right back with Patricia, and we'll be right back with a story that will help you make those changes that you've always wanted to make. You're listening to the Dr. Pat Show. We'll be right back.
It's always more fun to share.
Saskia Roel, the international soul guide who has followed her soul from Hong Kong and Africa to America. Saskia cracks open the lives of her clients and brings their soul's purpose to life. Are you stuck in a life that doesn't work? Go to yoursoulguidance.com for your 21-day roadmap to the life you secretly dream about, absolutely free. Discover surprising truths about your soulmate, talents, blocks, and more. Now is the time. Go to yoursoulguidance.com.
Are you feeling stuck? Do you want to be free from fears and doubts and finally feel good about yourself, but you just don't know how to get there? Dr. Schaub's Accelerated Breakthrough Program provides you with the tools and solutions to go beyond your limitations and achieve self-empowered confidence. Call for your free phone consultation at 866-903-MIND. Visit cellularwisdom.com. That's cellularwisdom.com.
Are you interested in learning about how to add more eco-conscious living into your life? Amy Willis, broker and owner of Rhino Roz Realty, is dedicated to helping people buy and sell healthy homes. She strives to educate people on incorporating more green features into your environment. Rhino Roz Realty wants to be a resource before, during, and after a transaction. Whether someone is buying or selling a single-family home, multifamily, condo, or investment property, Rhino Roz can provide the service and knowledge that is needed to make informed decisions. For a free market analysis or more information about greening your home, contact Amy at rhinoroz.com, RHINOROZ.com, or call 206-508-1250. Rhino Roz Realty, charging on your behalf in the Northwest.
Tune in each Wednesday at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com to Inspired Action Radio with Jennifer B. Mastering the art of dream building in the real world. This hit show will inspire you to start painting the canvas of your life and bring your unique spirit and your amazingly intelligent mind together to find an incredible, practical, real-world strategy to building a life with epic results. Tune in to Inspired Action Radio with Jennifer B.
Are you ready to have all your relationships work for you? Those with your family, friends, and coworkers? Perhaps with a lover? How about with your body and your money? Ask Susan. Relationship counselor, life coach, and access consciousness facilitator Susan Lazar-Hart has assisted thousands in creating relationships that truly work for them. Ask Susan, a monthly telecall where you can be heard and receive simple tools to apply to all your relationships. AskSusan.net. That's ask-susan.net.
It's always more fun to share with everyone. It's always more fun to share with everyone.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to the Dr. Pat Show. For more information about us, go to thedrpatshow.com or transformationtalkradio.com. Dr. Friedemann Schaub is in the house. Dr. Friedemann, we have a special guest. Why don't you introduce her to our listeners?
Yeah, I was asking Patricia to call in because I think she really is an expert in change, because she has created very powerful and very profound change in the last 6 months. And I just wanted to invite her to share a little bit about her story and how she was able to reach those goals. Hi, Patricia. Thank you so much for having you here.
Hi, Dr. Friedemann. It's a pleasure to be here.
So why don't you tell us a little bit what you were originally wanting to change and what you were struggling with, and then where are you right now?
Okay. Well, I was at a turning point in my life, moving to a new career, And at the same time, I started suffering with chronic pain. And even though I was doing every treatment possible and even gone through surgery, the pain was always there. And it just felt to me like there was something more. My body was somehow telling me I needed to pay attention to something. And I didn't really know what it was. At the same time, moving into a new career where I am independent, I'm self-employed, that was really new to me. Fear was creeping. And I think that the fear of fear getting in the way was what most motivated me, because in the past, it had happened. I always felt like my path had been blocked so many times, and this time, I did not want that to happen.
And so then you decided, I need to look into the deeper reasons why I have the pain and what the fear is really about.
Yes.
And what did you, in the meantime, feel like, what changed for you? What were you able to create?
Well, it changed completely. So through our sessions, I discovered so many things about myself. I'm able to hear my voice, and I think that the desire for freedom and expression of me really led me deep inside in learning who I am. And with our work together, that was incredibly possible. So now I have a clear image of who I am, and I can hear voices that are productive and that move me forward. Like I can reason and talk inside my mind in a way that is kind and compassionate, and I've become my best friend. And in the beginning, that wasn't so. I had all these negative thoughts. I was sabotaging myself. I was, probably my worst enemy. So it's a huge change. I feel empowered, and fear is here, but I'm not afraid of it anymore. I know it's there, and I talk to it, and just say, okay, fear, come along, and let's go.
Right. Well, you have definitely, you could say, transformed in so many ways. But what do you feel personal, as a personal experience on what were the ingredients that you brought to the table to make this change happen?
Yes. Okay. The first thing, I think it's willingness to change.
Mm-hmm.
That definitely opened the space for it. The other thing was and is persistence and looking inside and going in. Your homework of always listing the negative thoughts and then asking the question if the thoughts are true, if they serve me to reach my goal, and then responding, counterbalancing that thought with things that I know are good in me, that are not that thought. That exercise I still do, and I did it and have done it consistently on a daily basis. So I think that the focus and persistence and being present to the process of change is really important.
One of the things that I always really appreciated and loved about our work was that you were going beyond what I asked you to do, which is one of the hallmarks of what you were also able to reach. So when I asked you to write down 3 things that you appreciate about yourself, you were writing down 5 things you appreciate about yourself. So I think one of those maybe also ingredients of change is just to raise the bar for yourself, to be really committed and eager to do whatever you can and stay with it. And that has helped you, especially at the beginning, to create enormous momentum to really move forward and to make those changes happen.
Yes, I agree with that. I do agree with that. And the desire for change is so big that, I dove into it. And it's so positive, as you described, the momentum. It is so life-giving that I want more of it. I want more life. And
now, how is your physical? Sorry for that. How is your physical pain?
Oh, it's practically gone. I would say that 1% is here sometimes, depending on, and it's normally related to a movement. Like I can really know it's not emotional anymore. So I consider myself healed. Comparing to what I was feeling when we started, it was still so limiting. It was 100% of my time. And now
you feel free of it.
Oh, yes. I'm doing everything I want, and it doesn't, when I feel it, it's like a little reminder, and it's so little, but it's like that reminder, what is it that I need to pay attention to?
Excellent, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then you also were actually creating in this whole process, through the flexible mind, a really new relationship to your body as well. And you wanted to, lose some weight, and it never really happened, your relationship to the food. And all of this was also happening as you were consistent and committed, but also listening more and more to your emotions and those thoughts that were bubbling up from your subconscious.
Yes.
So what has changed for you there?
Well, that relationship now is the one that should be. It's food to nurture my body. And when I look at food, it's not replacing an emotion or an emptiness. I can identify the feeling and say, this feeling needs to be addressed in a different way. And so when I eat, I tell myself, I'm eating this because I want to, because it's good for me. I don't feel like I am a slave of whatever it was happening in my mind, using food. Well, we know what it was, right? But, using food as a source of relief or relaxation for that moment, or numbing feelings. And now that doesn't happen anymore. And I also got to a point where I had such a great connection to my body, like all of a sudden I felt like I'm present in my body, and that was incredible, and I feel gratitude towards it. And so I've lost since our last session, I've lost almost 6 pounds.
Wow.
And I have not dieted.
Wow.
I am just, it's really the relationship with food. Food now goes in as food. It doesn't carry the energy of the emotion anymore.
Wow. Oh, that's amazing. Wow. I just want to thank both of you for joining us here today. And Dr. Friedemann, Patricia, thank you both for joining us on the show. What a great story. Dr. Friedemann, I want to ask you, what is your personal message? What would you like to leave us with here today?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you and Patricia for really, giving this opportunity to share the possibility of change. And just like we heard from Patricia, there are ways for us to make change inevitable, and those ways are much easier than we think. And I think what you, Patricia, leave us with is just also being aware and listening more to yourself and listening to your thoughts and your emotions and addressing them. And what you have done was addressing them from a place of compassion and understanding, and then watching how everything falls in place. Your body, your weight, your emotions, everything is just falling into the right place. And that's change at its best. So thank you very much for that.
What a great show. I love talking about this. Patricia, thank you so much for sharing your story. I mean, it is really encouraging, and I hope you will come back and keep us, informed of your continuing progress. Dr. Friedemann, one more time, let's give out your website so folks know how to get a hold of you.
cellularwisdom.com or the fearandanxietysolution.com in one word.
All right, everybody. Thank you all for tuning us in, turning us on. We'll see you next time on The Dr. Pat Show.
Lights go out and I can't be saved. Tides that I tried to swim against brought me down upon my knees.
Stimulating talk gets those synapses in the brain firing really fast. All the time. The number one.
Transformation Talk Radio.
Transformation Talk Radio, a higher consciousness perspective. The hosts on Transformation Talk Radio offer a positive and new paradigm shift, a new vision for a collective future. They are empowering and helping all of us experience a powerful wave of personal shifts and cultural change as we break through to even greater levels of awareness. Take down our toll-free number, 1-800-930-2819. Call in, connect, make sure you tap into some of the world's most empowering psychics, healers, and more. Get an on-air reading with the best. Tune in, transformationtalkradio.com. Hey, everybody, we'll see you there.
We are living in a time of great challenges and greater opportunity for transformation. The good news is that public awareness of the need for change is also growing exponentially. More than ever, your transformative message is needed to empower millions across the globe.
Hi, I'm Dr. Pat, host of The Dr. Pat Show, and I'm excited about announcing an unprecedented opportunity for growth as we expand our broadcast by launching Transformation Talk Radio and the Transformation Network. Join me and a team of amazing people and host your own show on Transformation Talk Radio. Get ready to expand your horizons, tap into the best listeners anywhere, and join one of the most positive and expansive networks today.
Historically, there came a time when the boundary of water was transcended as man developed the boat, and the barriers of water became freeways. Join Dr. Pat as she launches this exciting venture. To host a show, call 1-800-930-2819 or email host@transformationtalkradio.com.
You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. Our hosts are setting a new standard for a fresh kind of talk radio, creating conversations that are transforming the world, one listener at a time. Transformation Talk Radio's mission is to broadcast a distinct blend of live talk radio interviews with a mix of uplifting and intelligent news, educational and practical information. Topics range from personal development to critical issues relevant to a rapidly changing world. Stay tuned. Transformation Talk Radio starts at the top of every hour.